Rottweiler Vlogs, episode 132. Mizzo Mack out here in Gatesville, Texas with my man Tony Butler of Butler Kennels Rottweilers. This episode is dope because Tony has never done a sit-down interview, and we got the exclusive here on Rottweiler Vlogs. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and as always, enjoy the video.
Tony, man, with Butler Kennels Rottweilers, man, founder, owner, everything you want to say. Butler Kennels Rottweilers, man, it's a pleasure to be here today, man. You know what I'm saying? So, opposite of being on the opposite side of the camera, it's the first time to being on the opposite side. So, here we go. I'm excited, baby. So I am from Charleston, South Carolina. A lot of people think I'm from Texas or from Georgia because they see me with a lot of Atlanta Falcons gear on. I am born and raised from Charleston, South Carolina. The dog breed then growing up was you saw a lot of pit bulls, and a lot of dogs back then wasn't even papered a lot, but we had a love for the dog, so it wasn't even about papers. It was just about the love, the breed. Me growing up, I always wanted to be a veterinarian growing up. Anybody that knows me from the island, from my hometown, they always know I was going to school for veterinarian and just going to do something with animals. My love, passion deepened with the dogs. Since I was born, my dad has always had a dog. The very first dog we had was a Rottweiler. It was actually a Rottweiler mixed with a Lab. Beautiful dog. Loved that dog. That dog would walk me to the school bus, wait for me when the bus comes back. He's waiting there for me and walking me back home.
What was his name?
Bronx.
Bronx.
Bronx. I always wanted to go to New York as a kid, so I didn't. So that was the closest thing for me to name my boy Bronx.
Okay,
and,
it's Bronx.
Bronx.
Oh, it's Bronx. Okay, all right.
B-R-O-N-X.
All right, Bronx. All right.
Small town, South Carolina. Saw things on TV with New York. I had an aunt live in New York. Couldn't wait to go there. So his name was Bronx. He was a Rottweiler mixed with a Labrador. He had all the colorings and markings of a Rottweiler. Just an awesome dog, man. And always just had a knack for it. So growing up, you would see people with pit bulls, Rottweilers, and dogs. Of course, being a little kid, seeing a dog that big looked humongous, and that's what I always wanted. I didn't never have the opportunity to actually have a Rottweiler growing up, full-bred Rottweiler, papers and all that kind of stuff growing up. But the love of the dog and seeing everyone with it, one day I wanted to emulate that and better the breed as I got older. From the island, like I said, we weren't really that much into like going to breeders and uneducated at the time, not really understanding like, hey, bloodlines and all that kind of different stuff. We just had a love for the dog. So actually my older brother was the one that actually had a friend that had this dog. I never saw the litter. I was much younger. My older brother, my middle brother, he was the one that actually initiated getting this dog, talking to my parents about trying to get this dog. And when the dog came home, I saw the dog when it came home, and I immediately fell in love. Like, it was just this little black and little brown dog that just looked like it was made for me. It was supposed to be my brother's dog, but that dog turned directly into my dog. The whole family knew it was my dog. I cared for it, man. I became a father at a very young age, you know what I mean? So I took that dog as a father, and just fell in love with it. Seeing that dog and just understanding at that moment, my life changed forever. It was a moment, like there's certain times in life where you just realize that something just happened. And at that very moment, something inside me felt so different than any other dog I ever saw. This dog just, the eyes, the way it just moved, everything about this dog was just hit home for me. After Bronx passed away of age and things like that, we kind of just, it's pretty funny. I found a dog walking home one day, a stray dog, not a Rottweiler or anything like that, but because of my love for just dogs and animals, man, the dog had like mange and everything else. I took it home. I actually hid the dog from my parents, and I hid it in the house. The dog would just always squeal a little bit, make noises. So my parents found out about it. I got in trouble a little bit until my dad recognized the so much passion and love I have for this dog. I was able to keep the dog. We washed the dog. We got the dog to a full bill of health. Just taking the dog to the vet, back and forth. The dog cleared up, got really beautiful, man. And the dog took off. I guess it was somebody else's dog, I don't know, but the dog was like, thanks for your services, and I'm gone. And at that moment, which made me want to just go and really seek and get a dog. Back in the day, back then, we didn't have Facebook to go log into getting dogs. It was about classified ads. So I went into classified ads. I kept looking for Rottweilers. Weeks go by, months go by. I'm just looking for a Rott. No other dog. I had families trying to give me dogs, like they're just breeding, and I wasn't really. That really wasn't for me. So I looked in the ad and I saw this Rottweiler, and I talked to the guy. I didn't have that much money then. I was cutting yards, making money, trying to pay for this dog, and then finally saved up enough. I got with this guy. He was really awesome, man. Talking to, he made it comfortable, let me know what the dog was about at the time. Got my first dog. The name was Champ. Man, I felt like a champ when I got it, man. He was my champ, and he lived up to his name, every single bit of it, man. He was a champ. That dog there, that's when I was still living at home, and then once I finally left there, going into the military days or whatever the case is, he was still there. I wanted to take him with me, but I realized how much he impacted my mother as well and my father. So he stayed back home with my mom and dad, lived up to his name still, at which time I knew I decided I had to get me another dog for myself as well. And that's when Bear came along. I was going to school first. I left home and I was going to go to college, Greenville Tech. And a moment's hit me, man. I've always wanted to be independent. I always believed that if I'm gonna go to school, I want to be able to pay for the school. I didn't want my parents to pay for it. I wanted to just do it on my own, even at that age. And knowing that the military was able to pay for my schooling, I decided to join the military. I left school to join the military, so that way I could actually pay for my schooling and be independent and still be able to have my dog at the same time all as well. So to me, that was my little plan. I was just going to have a beautiful dog and just be there and just, doing my whole military career as well. It just transpired into where I left home, left school, joined the military, and then that's when Bear was finally introduced at that time. Owning a dog in the military is a lot of juggle, but for me, it was totally worth having a dog. Anyone in the military knows when you're going overseas, traveling, anything like that, it's always going to be difficult with your loved ones because you got to leave that loved ones there. And I just thank God that I had a lot of people around me that was really supportive of having that dog. Like I said, it's like caring for a child. I never just wanted to put my dog in the pound and just go. I had family and friends that were with that dog. When that dog saw me, it was like coming home after a stressful day in the military was the best feeling ever. Seeing that four-legged son of yours just waiting for you when you open that door, it's all your troubles went away at that time.
Not to get a chance to say this on camera yet, but thank you for your service.
Appreciate it.
So you have Bear and you spent some time in the military. How long was you in the military? And at what point did you decide, you know what, I think I want to breed Rottweilers? Because you already had a passion for this breed, and by this point you had made a transition from South Carolina to Texas. So talk to me about how you decided to start Butler Kennels Rottweilers.
So I can tell you the exact date and everything. It was a day after my birthday, 15 years ago on March 25th, the day after my birthday, which is March 24th. So we've been in business for 15 years professionally. At the time, what really pushed me to really want to be a breeder was the fact that I was tired of seeing so many people get screwed over buying a dog. I would look at certain dogs and I would see imperfections and people just scamming people and all that kind of stuff there as well. And just the values that I've always seen. I remember this lady talking to me about a dog. I was walking my dog at one time, and a lady said, you know what, I put a deposit down with this one breeder at one time and she got screwed over, and she would love to see a dog like mine, and she would love to have it. And she was just like, I've always seen you walk your dogs. Your dog is so well trained, well behaved. And you know, and seeing her story, we talked for a very long time, and seeing her story talk about what she would love to have, and my love for dogs, I mean, it was like peanut butter and jelly, man, putting it together so easy. You know, my biggest thing about it was I was always so nervous about doing it, because anything I do, I always want to be the best at what I do. Something that my father stuck with me in my head from day one is, he says, hey, if you're going to be a trash picker-upper, man, make sure you're the best trash picker-upper there is. So with me, the fear of doing a kennel was really the biggest setback for me, because I wanted to be great at what I was. I never cared about fame. I didn't care about being big, name known, anything else. I just wanted to be best, that when people get a dog from me, they got the best quality ever. So I put myself at a higher standard for myself, and then the research started all over again, you know, looking for dogs and the quality of the dogs. At this time, I used the best of what I had, knowledge of what I had at that time. Getting another dog wasn't the same knowledge I have now. 15 years ago, you know, rewind 15 years ago, I believe I chose the best dog at that time, you know, for me. I got a female, her name was Pebbles, you know, man, she was a little small little thing. That's why I named her Little Pebbles, and man, rest is history.
She was the beginning. Was she the first female that you bred?
Yes.
And how big was her litter? First litter, do you remember?
I do remember, man. I can tell you 8 puppies.
8
4 boys, 4 girls.
Okay, so
exactly.
This was your first experience. Pebbles was the first, so walk me through that, you know, whelping that first litter. What was that like?
Actually, I'll even take a step even further back. When Pebbles was giving birth, man, I was so excited at first when, you know, they bred, and I was like, we got puppies coming soon. I did my research after they got bred, you know, about how long it's going to take and everything else. I was just so excited about the dogs. And then everything went total 180. When she was giving birth, I was so scared, so nervous, like, am I going to do a good enough job? All the things I watched on her, Rottweilers and dogs in general having puppies, was so smooth, it was so perfect. And that's what really made me doing the videos I do now, because of that. Because when I watch YouTube and watch things on the internet about dogs giving birth, they made it seem like it was so magical and so easy. It was just like phenomenon easy. And then once I started to actually see the puppies and going into nervous mode, you know, like a first time dad, you know, you're going to really be nervous and worried you're doing this right. But Pebbles was really relaxed. I think her eyes were trying to tell me, Dad, calm down, we got this. And I remember it was like 4 straight boys came right out, boy, a boy, a boy. And I was like so excited seeing that. And then once the puppies were born, I was so excited, like, man, people are gonna have some special, beautiful puppies. And then once the very first person came, I was really excited because, you know, even my very first litter, so many people have known me, knowing about my dogs, the litter had already sold out before they even bred. People were always saying, hey man, we want puppies, here's a deposit, here you go. So when the puppies came, I was so excited to be like, hey, they're gonna get puppies. But I remember when the first guy walked through the door, he was actually from Killeen, Texas. I'm not gonna say his name, but he walked from Killeen, Texas. And I really had a sense of, you know, decisions at that time, because a part of me was so excited that this puppy's going home to a great home, but a part of me didn't want to let this puppy go. Ultimately that day, you know, when he was there, I just remember seeing the excitement on his face and their kid's face. And I remember that feeling I got when I first got Bronx, you know, and that's what turned it around all the way. And seeing that excitement for him just really made it feel so easy in transition, and so much happy families getting their very first dog. And at that very moment, man, I wanted to do this forever, you know, just continue, keep it going. I never even gave this in depth on my own channel, so this is that Mongo exclusive here for you guys right here, all right?
I appreciate that.
All right, so when you go back into the days and you're like, man, I told you guys from the very beginning, I want to be. My dad always said, if you're going to do something, be the best at what you're going to be. There were dogs here in the United States that were beautiful, that was awesome dogs. I looked, and I would watch these guys on TV, and they were like getting these import dogs. It was just like phenomenal. Germany, and I always thought to get a Rottweiler, you have to go to Germany to get a Rottweiler. And so I did some more researching and understanding that, they're not just in Germany. Plus, I wanted to be a little bit different. I never wanted to follow the crowd and just be level even with everybody else. I wanted to take it to the next level of really doing my research. I remember sitting down on this wooden table, and I remember I sat there. It was daytime. I mean, the sun was out like it is right now. And I remember I never moved from the table, not one time. And I remember looking outside, and it was dark. Just planning and trying to understand what method I needed to take to get to the next level. Not because of anybody else, but for myself. I wanted to be best. I want to be the best, and that's where the word "the best of the best" comes from. I know a lot of people think the best of the best. I'm trying to compare myself to other breeders, and people kind of take it as a hit. But the best of the best, and I haven't even explained this yet to people, but the best of the best came from within myself. You have to be the best of the best within yourself before you can be great to anybody else. If you can't be best within, you can't spill it out to someone else. So the best of the best is the best of the best within myself to be great. Once I started to doing my research and understanding the dogs, I remember giving some people some call overseas, and it was long distance and everything else. That phone bill was high. I promise you, I remember that phone bill was high. I called a few breeders overseas, and typical response was, they don't really know who I was. Wasn't nobody really. I got the phone hung up on me on a few cases. If you're not a known breeder, a lot of them don't take you serious. They think you just want to you're just calling to hear yourself talk.
Window shopping.
Window shop. So if you're not buying with a lot of breeders, they don't want to talk to you really. If you're not showing that you got money and all that kind of stuff. At the time, which I didn't have a lot of money up, you know what I mean? It's basically what I have is what I have right now. Day to day, middle class working person, man, taking care of myself, taking care of everything around me. So but a lot of breeders overseas was kind of like whatever. Nothing against anybody in the States at all whatsoever. I didn't want to go in the States because I wanted to be different. You know what I mean? I realized there's a plug line that certain people had overseas at that time that nobody else was really tapping into. And those that was tapping into it was killing the market so much that they was trying to overcharge so much, and just, even they had a great brand, a great dog, they wasn't using it the right way. So one guy gave me a chance, man, and would talk with him, and he actually, we talked. I remember my very first overseas dog, I took a loan out. You know what I mean? I took a loan. That's how serious I was about it. I had the whole thing planned out. Even though I planned, I had a whole thing from daytime to nighttime, none of it went according to as planned. So, sometimes you got to improvise, and that's what I did. I went from having one certain plan, it's got to work this way, to being something totally different, where I improvise and just throw an audible in there, and it worked out perfectly fine. To where I had this guy overseas that took a chance with me, got the dog, paid for the dog. I was so nervous about the dog coming in. We had many questions. I asked questions over and over again. And then, was you nervous because you were sending money overseas and you didn't know if you was going to get the dog that you actually paid for? Heck yeah. I had so many, coming up from where I'm from, man, things don't happen. You know what I mean? People will screw you over, people lie to you, steal from you. Everything in the back of my mind was, what's stopping this guy from taking my money and running? You're not going to fly back overseas to get your money, or whatever the case is. You're going to treat it as a loss. And to me, this was everything for me. And I knew what people felt like who was buying dogs from me from outside the States. But he made me feel very comfortable, you know what I mean? But still, even through all this comfortability or whatever for me, I still had the back of my mind, how's this going to play out? You know what I mean? Am I going to really get this dog? Am I really going to just be it? You know what I mean? Is this going to really be the
He's gonna,
dog?
everything that you're thinking that it's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
There was still a little bit doubt in the back of your mind.
Man, there's always going to be doubt. If you don't have any doubt in your mind of some kind of sort, man, you may not be human. So I was still very nervous. I was very. It made me comfortable, but I was still nervous because I know of all the leading up to this point, how many trials and tribulations I've already been through with people in the States and other dogs and breeding and all that kind of stuff, and just seeing how many people was trying to rip you off in the States. Now I'm going abroad. It's even more of a risk. It's more money involved, and I'm talking about taking a loan out, savings that I have, investing into a dog that I believe I'm gonna put my all into. So this was my. This was all the eggs in one basket going.
This you rolling the dice.
I'm rolling the dice. I'm betting everything on me. When I'm buying dogs now, people overseas know who I am now. So
it's almost like they're trying to give you the dog.
Yeah, I've actually had a few breeders offer me to give the dog to me and just want their dog in my kennel. But taking a step back, when I first got this dog, this one particular guy was very he wanted the sale. You know what I mean? You could tell he wanted it. At the time when I did my research, I started understanding the dollar bill was worth over here to them is worth a little bit more over there. So they wanted the sale, I wanted the dog, so we had a mutual ground. But it was a little bit more of a push, a little bit like, come on, this is what we're going to do, we're going to be right, and let's get this dog, let's get the sale, let's make it happen, to where once they get the dog, like most breeders do, they get their dog and you're done, and over there they're like, hey, I got my sale, you got your dog, we're good to go.
Communication
until next
is
time.
over.
Yeah. Until the next time, come hit me up next time you need a dog, but until then, I don't really care. Here's your dog, here's thing, paperwork or whatever. To where now is, if I message someone, it's, hello Butler Kennels, how you doing? The whole spill, hey, I'm watching you for this, or whatever the case is, as well. So it's a little bit different, but I can see the growth between when I first started to where I'm at now. I'm a little bit more precise about dogs. I've turned dogs down from overseas because it's not the look that I'm going for. It's not about the money. It's not about getting a dog for free. It's about getting the right quality that suits me over anything else. People have told me, man, friends close to me have known and said, man, why would you turn that free dog away? It's from overseas. And just my education, man, educating myself is just like, just because you get a dog overseas don't mean that it's quality. You know what I mean? There are people like us over here and over there, so there's no difference. But the standards of what they have, set standards, is a little bit higher than what AKC does in the United States or whatever. So production is different over there than what it is here. So when I did my research of understanding, hey, this is what they're doing over here, this is what I want, let me go forth for what I want for my kennel, and I'm not going to stray from it for any reason, whether it be cost, price, the actual dog itself, friends, or whatever. I knew what I wanted, and that's the thing that a lot of people, that I believe that really got me to where I really am at today, is because putting my foot down and sticking to what I know and what I want, not following a trend because somebody else is getting this or what's hot right now. I stuck to what I love and what I wanted, and that's why we have what we have today. Going back a little bit between us, man, I always like to see great people do great things, man. And I don't know, my grandfather told me a long time ago, man, you have a special eye. You can see in the future further than people can naturally see with a natural eye. It never made sense to me in the beginning. I was like, I don't know what he's talking about, whatever. But you can foresee certain things, and I don't know, man, when I first came across you, we talked a little bit, just always seeing you online and stuff this year. I was like, man, this guy gonna do things, man. I mean, I can see it before he sees it, but I don't just go out and just tell people that. I watch and I see the growth of, Mike Mongo, man, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of other people as well too I look at and I see. But I know everybody has their own career path and what they're taking, so I don't try to push myself onto someone saying, hey, do this or whatever. But when you did get a little quiet at one time, I was like, man, where's he at? I don't see this guy on there no more, man. Let me just check on my brother, make sure he's good. It's just when you always hear people say when you hear something, man, you think about somebody, give them a call. Just don't say I was thinking about you. So
Indeed.
And it was definitely on my heart, man. I was like, let me call this guy, let me see what he's doing, man. I know we don't talk like that, man, but I want to call him, make sure he's good. I've already been down that road, and when you see things that's happening again to someone else that you've already been through, you notice certain keys. You kind of pick up on it. So, and it just told me to call. I gave a call, man, and what we talked about, between us, and we talked, and just all I want to do was just uplift and have encouragement for my brother, man, to really just go to that next level of not letting people decide who you were or what you were going to do, but definitely within yourself. Because I mean, I've been through the point where people have tried to tear you down, but
Indeed.
when you're a rock and you're a solid man, is when people try to tear you down, most people say hurt people try to hurt people. You know what I mean? When they're hurt. So I just want you to know how within yourself how great you were, man, and what I saw for you. And I didn't want to come across as trying to be like, hey, man, I'm trying to, but I want you to just know genuinely, no cap, no nothing, just what it was. So,
and I appreciate that.
Oh, definitely, man, definitely. A lot of people may think that, getting a dog from overseas is going to be whatever they tell you is what you got to go with. You know what I mean? And I think I'm very thankful for the fact that my name of what I've been doing has started to catch on to people knowing who I was, and but I didn't want to settle for anything. I didn't want to just settle, like, you know what I mean. So when I imported this dog from a breeder overseas, was not to the standard of what was portrayed to me as being seen. You know what I mean? And a lot of people think because they're overseas that they're gonna just tell you what they want and you just take it and you just go with it. For me, my standard is more important than dollar bills. If I had to go over there and spend more money to get the right dog for me, then that's what I was going to do. So I received this dog that wasn't the dog that was the one that we discussed and we talked about. I made it very clear that, hey, look, two things can happen. This dog can go directly right back, or you can send the right dog to me, or the refund is back. You know what I mean? I guess at first it was kind of like, well, it is what it is. You're just going to take the dog or whatever. I guess when they started noticing that I was making preparations to go over there, because I already been overseas before, you know what I mean, and met with some of the kennels overseas as well. So it impacted a little bit. In the midst of me preparing to get ready to go overseas and to really get things in order, I received the call back. Was like, okay, fine, we can get the dog back, and I understand, don't want no problems. We want issues. We don't want the issues. We just really want you as a client. We want you as a happy client, because we understand what you're doing right now reflects other people as well too. So, man, so I sent the dog back, and then I received the right dog for me as well. So it just sticking to what you really want, man, is not trying to blast anybody or try to make someone feel, but just really sticking to what I knew, what I wanted, and I just wanted to make it.
That was most important to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So then we made it happen, and
nice.
The dog came back, came here, good to go.
When you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is look at your wife, then you check on your kids. Then you get to the dog. Like, this is how you always have come off to me. You have never rubbed me the wrong way. But I think for everybody who supports you because you have a huge following, there's other people who don't. There's other people who try to drag your name through the mud. And I have noticed that whenever you say something, it's always in defense. You never come out and talk about somebody else if you had a bad experience with somebody else, or if somebody is privately saying something about you through a text message or messenger. You won't post a thread of their messages unless they do it first. Then you'll respond in defense. And time again, I have seen that, and I think that goes unnoticed because of what people's perception may be of Butler Kennels Rottweilers. Please elaborate a little bit on that, because at the end of the day, you have made it known time and time again that because of what you do and how you are doesn't really affect me or my mood.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people may not like. That they can't get under your skin. That they can't affect. You see what I'm saying? So talk about that a little bit more.
So you going for the juicy pear, man.
Yeah, it's Rottweiler vlog,
Oh
baby.
yeah, man.
You know, this
I'm gonna give you all the juiciness, man.
Yeah.
What everybody been waiting for. I'm gonna make it worth it. So, most importantly, man, is there's a few people I really I got a few role models, man. Very selective few, and for different reasons than people would think. First thing is, my grandfather always told me, man, name one person who's positive that someone hasn't had something negative to say about them. Jesus Christ, they had something negative to say about him. I don't care. Any president we've ever had, people will like him, people will hate him. No matter what you do, there's always going to be someone that's not going to like your growth. But if you concern yourself with the people that don't like your growth, if you're concerned with that more than the people who want to see you supportive, who's supportive of you, then you'll miss your mark because you're worried about the wrong thing. There's a funny story, man. I'm gonna tell you that my brother told me. It was a frog trying to climb a tree, and this frog kept trying to climb the tree, kept jumping. Another frog comes by and looked at him and said, "Man, you can't climb that tree. Don't climb that tree, man. Just go ahead and stop. You can't climb the tree." And of course, after a while, he gathered a whole crowd around him. People telling him, "No, what are you doing? You're a frog. Frogs don't climb trees. Stop." And then finally, he reached the very top of the tree. After a while, he climbed the tree, reached the top. When the reporter came to the frog and said, "Hey, man, what made you climb that tree?" He said, "I'm deaf. I thought they were cheering me on." So you got to block out what people are saying negatively to you and focus on what your purpose is. And even since then, it's always been about what I want to do and what I see for myself to do, not because somebody else told me. If I had listened to anybody else telling me about my plan in my life, I wouldn't be here today. Mike Mongo won't be, recording this right now. But I stuck with what I wanted to do and what was my passion, and I stuck with it, no matter what anybody else told me. So we fast forward a little bit further into it, and I realized that, a lot of people say people don't like you, or people, it's not even people, man. To be honest, it's just other breeders. You got people who will, if you hear something over and over and over again, you start to think it's true. Just because you hear it over and over again don't mean it's true. I've had people, call and tell me, say, "Hey, man, I see they created a fake page about you because of the hate they have for you." Even during that time, I still wish them well. I'm like, man, so you follow my every move and you're doing this and you're just trying to turn it into a negative narrative. Obviously, I've hurt you somewhere that's not dealing with dogs, but you're a breeder. Jealousy will make people do all kinds of type of things. And with that happening, man, I think it was maybe a month when it first started, it bothered me a little bit. Like, man, I don't want people to look at me as these stuff they're telling lies about me and everything else. And I was kind of hurt a little bit, like, man, I'm trying to be positive, but they're telling lies about me. How do I stop it? And I remember a good friend of mine told me, said, "Man, just be you. Who you are will always outshine the fakeness." You know what I mean? People can only pretend for so long. So if I am who I am over years and years and years, they'll know who you are. It doesn't matter what they say. You just continue to do what you got to do. I did that over. I continue to do what I want to do, man, and do it the right way. And every time I turn around, there's another breeder saying something about you, or I didn't health test, or I didn't. I don't know, some of the stuff they were saying, testing, the dogs died or something like that or whatever. So I made a post and told people that, hey, if you find, one person, and that really didn't initiate me to really realize that I've never had an unsatisfied client, you know what I mean? And I was like, man, that's really, every time someone would mention my name, when people ask about on Facebook, who's a breeder, they mention my name, that's when you would see the hateful people come out, and that's the breeders, the only breeders. They come out, "Oh, don't buy from Butler Kennels, this and that," but they could never give you a reason. They will always say he had someone, or say the name. So then I came on my post and told people, said, "Hey, man, you know what? For every person you find that ever had a dog sick from me or anything else, I'll give $10,000 to." And that was posted, and still posted till this day. People came out and tried to come up with things that, didn't even make sense or whatever the case is. But it was never my goal to embarrass somebody or even try to put someone in the bad limelight. You know, I don't know how certain people take certain things or whatever. And my goal is always to educate, not to hurt someone. So when people bash my name or said something negative, man, it would be so crazy if I were to really just reveal how many people try to bash me and now I've sold a dog to, or how many people have actually came back and said, hey man, I apologize. Actually reading your page and seeing what you're about, I realized that they were just hateful. And you know, looking back, and that means more to me than me trying to hit someone below the belt and trying to go lower than they go. You know, and then for every one negative person, man, that has something negative to say about my business, there's 100 more positive people saying more positive things or whatever. So you got to focus on the positivity than the negative people. And when negative people don't even have a ground to stand on, they just keep saying they and it and that, you can't worry about it. But the people that comes on my page and buy dogs, they give their honest, true testaments. Anybody that follows me, and I think that's the reason why, you know, we grow so much more every month. Every week I see growth on our YouTube channel, our Facebook channels, our Instagram, and just as a person and people out there just really realizing who we are because of positivity will always shine through no matter what. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
And that's why today we just continue to be successful in giving out great dogs, man, great vibes to people, and just continuing that aura for everybody. So
the energy you put out is the energy you get back.
Yeah, absolutely.
9 times out of 10.
Absolutely. So I mean, there's no business out there that no one. There's a quote that a guy told that said, "You will never go on YouTube and find that no one has given a thumbs down on any video. No matter what, it can be a baby crying or baby laughing, and they'll still get a thumbs down. Someone is not gonna like what you do." And one of my role models, man, is Kevin Hart. Not because of the comedian, but the business person he is. He's his own brand, you know, Hart Productions and everything he stands for, and what he's always been about, building other people around him and building them up. You know, I first, you know, saw Kevin Hart as a comedian, and I love his jokes and everything else, but as a man and as a person, he always wanted to see those around him grow. He wasn't all about me, myself, and I. It was always about the guys that he brought along with him, the people he had with him. He wanted to see them succeed even bigger than what he is. And doing that, you know, he always said that no matter what you do, there's going to be one person in the crowd that's going to point at you and just say, hey, man, I don't like. Everybody can say, hey, man, we love it. Great movie, clap. There's always going to be one person that's going to say, just because I don't like that movie, man. Like, why? He can't tell you why. He just got to say he don't like it because he want to be different. And I take that as the people that, you know, who has something to say about me but can't really, you know,
articulate themselves as to what?
Yeah, as to what it is, diagnose of what it is. When people come in and said, people have said, he don't do health testing, but I've offered 10 grand to anybody who's ever bought a dog from me that I couldn't provide a health testing for. People will try to fear people into things about things. 15 years. Now, of course, no one's been health testing for 15 years, 20 years, because some things are coming new and we're learning every day. But as we know better, we do better as well too. So we've offered anybody when they started saying that he doesn't health test, or trying to create the narrative of let's keep saying it over and over, he don't health test. And then you produce health testing results and they said, oh, well, then he don't do this. Then you did that and you showed that. It's like, well, he did this. Or, you know, or the biggest funniest thing I've ever heard is someone said he had someone bought a dog that died of JLPP, you know, which is a disease that Rottweilers both carry. If they both, as a carrier, a puppy could die from it. And you know, we've offered 100 grand for anybody who's ever had a dog from us that died. You know what I mean? Who wouldn't want 100 grand right now? You know what I mean? But doesn't matter. It's always going to be something that someone's going to challenge you with to see. And my biggest thing has always been, I don't have to prove a point to anybody. I have to prove something. Because if I sat here and try to prove a point to every single person that has to challenge you,
you'd be sitting here all day.
I'll be all day, all year long.
Yeah.
But the people that I do owe an explanation to anybody who actually buys a dog from me. When you buy a dog from me, you pick your dog up, every single person, they go over paperwork, they go over everything, you know, and that's what brought me back to the very first time I ever had a dog and buying a dog is, you know, I want that person to experience a great experience because we have so much repeat customers, man, and that validates, because you can go anywhere in the world and get a dog. I'm not the only breeder. You know, there's thousands and thousands of great breeders out there in the world you can go to and you'll be really satisfied. But when someone comes back to us 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, you watch our channel, man, we show it on there. I think the most we got is someone that has 6 dogs from us. You know, but it's really a blessing to see that. And as that happens, the honesty of what they say grows more and more. So it's not even I have to say anything. It's the people with their experience with their dogs. They love their dogs. Police departments, you know, people over abroad. One of the biggest things ever was, you know, sending dogs here in the United States was a great thing for me, and I felt really blessed that I had covered every 50 states. All the dogs went there everywhere. But when I started sending dogs overseas is when I felt a certain different type of accomplishment. Like, man, these dogs are going overseas where I was buying dogs from, and people are now seeing that Von Haas Butler bloodline overseas. Really made me feel great. But nothing is greater than seeing even the simplest family member, anybody here in the States, just get a dog from me and feel love in having that. B-Block was created by myself to really just, you know, I've always believed, like I go back to Kevin Hart, he's one of the biggest comedians in the world. Whether you like him or you don't, you have to respect him for what he is and what he do. But he uses his platform to bring others up as well. And, you know, for me, it's, if you're on the top by yourself, you're by yourself. You want to bring those up with you, or those you see that has the potential to be great. And B-Block is just, B-Block is a group that I created because I wanted to see others have a platform to grow on. Now, there's plenty of platforms on Facebook and groups, chats people have, but for me, it was certain individuals I saw that we talk, you know, that wanted to just do something. I saw myself in them. You know, I saw a piece of myself in them, and just not having it all the way there, but I wanted to push them a little bit more. So I created a little group that was just internal, that, you know, I didn't want to be big and broad. I have a group page for people who want to just sell dogs or whatever, and, you know, on that level. But the intellectual mind frame of teaching up and coming breeders the right way, you know what I mean, or the way that I do things, or the way I see is a great way, but still improvise your own. You know, each one of these kennels have their own entity. They're their own man. They're their own kennels. But this is a group where these guys come together. We talk all the time, and, you know, we discuss what we do and how to do it the right way. They got questions. We bounce it off of each other, and to grow more and more. There's kennels here. There's kennels that's producing dogs right now. Consists of JLC, which is my brother. You know what I mean? He's actually the godfather of one of my kids. We first met. We talked on the phone for hours, man. If you want to, that's on the video. You'll go through all that. But we talked for hours, and it's just his demeanor, who he was, just came across as a brother, and that's what he's not even a friend. That's a brother of mine. So that hit off. Hot Rots. Hot Rots is a little bit different. Hot Rots wanted to buy a dog from me one time, and he went to make a payment and send a payment through Western Union. And I guess Western Union told him that they couldn't send the money or whatever. And he got nervous, like, man, I don't know. I guess they're trying to tell me don't buy it or whatever. And he came back again and was like, man, you know what? This is like months and months and months later. He said, man, I don't care what the people say. I'm going to get a dog from you, man. And we talked. And I actually told him, hey, man, take your time. If you don't feel comfortable, man, I want you to take your time. And he was like, man, I've never heard a breeder tell me take my time and just wait. You know what I mean? Because you weren't about a sale. You were about, and, man, we started talking about family and kids and, you know, fellow military guy, man, as well, too, you know. So we had a lot in common. And his goals of what he wants is the same thing. He wanted to see me succeed even more than what I was, and I want to see him succeed more and be higher. He said, man, I want to just be, man, I want to get on your level. And I said, no, man, I want to see you get past my level. And we just hit it off so much, man. And then RK has seen me, man. This guy here came to the house, man. I was like, looks nothing like the way he sounded on the phone. Denver, Colorado. Came down here, we talked, man. And a brother, again, we came out here, we talked. My kid actually had soccer practice that day, And we sat back and we talked for so long, man. Just a really good guy. And I mean, he bought 4 dogs off the bat just like that. It was like, hey, man, I'm not rocking with anybody but you. I believe in you. I want this to happen. I don't care about the money. And when he said that, man, it really, because some people will try to get on with somebody that's, you know, seen them doing good things and they want to just get on with it. And the first thing he said was, Tony, I don't even care about the money, man. I'll sell all the dogs and give you everything. I don't even care, but I want to learn. And that to me really stuck out to me. And him and his wife Tanisa, man, was like awesome. All of them guys' wives, man, are like, you know, they're the backbone of their kennels as well.
Talk to me about who us is at Butler Kennels Rottweilers.
Us is actually me, my wife, and my kids. This us is, you know, nobody gets to anywhere they can by themselves. There's nobody. I don't care who you are. Nobody came by themselves, took care of themselves, and got here. My wife believed in me since day one. You know what I mean? When I was that young cat, I remember we was in a 1-bedroom apartment, and man, I had this vision. I was gonna get 1 dog, 1 male, breed it, keep a puppy from that litter, breed it, keep another puppy from that litter, keep it, and I was gonna have about 8 dogs. The 1-bedroom apartment, man, to the first house, to the second house, and so on and so forth, man. She believed in me from day one, and you know, it just really motivated me. Even when days I was down, I'm human, you know what I mean? There was days I was down, I just wanted to be like, man, I'm gonna take a break. She motivated me, no, you got this, Tony. If you need a break sometime, now she convinced me sometime to take a break, because you know, to recharge. But she definitely got me, she kept me on the straight and narrow, man, for this business to really take off to where it did, and to really push me more behind the scenes, behind everything nobody saw. Getting this place here, you know, was her, you know what I mean? The idea, the vision of what we saw happening, making it come forth. But it's always a group thing together, man, a decision making together, what we saw together. We could build on these things.
The floor is yours to close it out and say whatever you like.
Man, first of all, man, blessings to you, man. I appreciate you for even having me, even giving me the call to come out, man, to even have this happening, honestly, for real. Never get too big for, you know, the small people, man, you know. I still see myself as that regular guy the day I started because of what I really envisioned to happen. The money won't change you, man. You know, it hasn't changed us. The friends of people who want to see other people do great hasn't changed us. And just really appreciative, man, of you really coming out and really doing this right here. On another note, man, you guys, you got to check the gear out. You know what I'm saying? We got the gear coming out. For years, I've been telling people we had the gears coming out, but officially this year, 2021, we got it coming out now. We got a shipment coming in hopefully sometime this month. Hats, different types of hats and all that kind of stuff as well. We got face masks. I don't know where it's at. It's somewhere. It's, let's see. Whoop, there we go. We got some face masks for you as well too. But most importantly, man, you know, besides the clothing attire and the gear and Facebook and the YouTube, man, just getting to know me, man, and I appreciate people that's even want to even know about me. You know what I mean? To me, I'm just a regular guy like everybody else, man, of just following his dreams. So most importantly, that if you watch my channel, you always see me. I always tell people all the time is, no matter what it is you do, if you have a goal and a vision of something you want to do, go after it. We all on borrowed time. You know, we're not going to be here forever. People who were born in 1885 are all gone right now. However they live their life is how they live their life. That's it. So if you have a vision of something you want to do, go after it, make it happen today, and just give it your best and be the best of who you can be. But most importantly, treat each other right and be good and be blessed.